Welcome to the Romance Podcast. And first and foremost, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there.
Period.
But specifically to this girl sitting to my, to my right, but
Why is this confusing you?
Well, when they watch, are you to my left? Yeah, right? So you, Kenzie K, a.k.a. Kenzie Roman, a.k.a. my wife, a.k.a. Tristan and Marino's mom.
Yeah.
Happy Mother's Day to you.
Thank you. I'm so excited.
I am too.
You are?
Well, here's the thing.
He's all nervous or something.
A lot of people have said, like, oh, your first Mother's Day. And I understand why they say it because Marino was your first child that you birthed.
Yes.
And is that a word, birthed?
Yes.
Yeah. And so
you're on track.
I understand why they say it. And with no disrespect intended, they mean it. Like, oh, your first Mother's Day. Congratulations, right?
Yes, but I don't feel that way, and you know that.
And how do you feel?
Because I have had multiple Mother's Days because of Tristan, who obviously we have majority custody of, who had been in his life since he's been like 4, 5, right in that zone, and he's almost 10.
Yeah.
So literally, majority of his life, I've been in it. It's actually so cute because there is times where you pull up like old pictures and stuff. Maybe he's like 2. Yeah. And he's like, Kenzie, where were you? And I'm like, oh, honey bear, I didn't know you yet. But like, it's,
right.
I realized that, I mean, you think of some of your first memories in life, you're probably kindergarten, first grade, second grade. I've been in his life since then. So I think sometimes he really doesn't, he may remember a specific day or something, but I don't think he really remembers life without me, which is endearing to me because I don't want to remember life without him because I love him so much.
That's very sweet.
It's not my first Mother's Day. I've had him, he's always thought of me on Mother's Day. He's always giving me a gift, and it lights up my world that he does.
Yeah.
But I understand where people are coming from. If you're a stingy person, you're like, well, you didn't push one out. Now you can't take it away from me. So.
If Tristan were to get you a gift this year, what would you want?
I hate you.
No, seriously. If what's the perfect gift that Tristan could get you this Mother's Day?
I think a trip to Egypt. If he could give me anything, because we're talking about miracles, I would love a trip to Egypt.
All right.
So
all right, so I thought it'd be kind of fun. It's whatever, your 5th Mother's Day, your first Mother's Day, it's Mother's Day, and now you have a brand new newborn child. I mean, I do as well, but like, this is about moms,
right?
So I thought it'd be kind of cool to ask you some questions about being a mother. Okay, so
I'm gonna get an interview today, and I'm really excited about it.
It's our special Mother's Day episode,
Right.
So what is your favorite thing about being a mom?
Oh my goodness. That's a tough question. I really enjoy the areas that I get to thrive in. So it's 2 different things for the 2 different kids.
Yeah.
So you're obviously Mr. Sports and you get to do all the super masculine things. And because it's boys, the feminine touch or the creative side or whatever don't get to shine through probably as often as if it was a girl. I'd paint nails and do hair or something, right?
Which you're not doing to my boys.
Yes, which I'm not doing.
Period.
I understand. That's not the question.
All right, good.
But I do love when I get to add something different to their lives.
Yeah.
So I feel like with Tristan, even in my birthday card, he wrote like, thanks for always answering all my questions. Because he knows he can like rapid fire, ask me tons of questions, and I give him super honest answers or creative answers, or I tell him stories, or when I put him to bed, we always do question of the night, and we have a fun creative side. So I think with Tristan, my favorite thing is just watching his gears work as I like tell him fun stories or answer all of his questions. I like offering that side of entertainment because I'm not outside playing catch with him or something like that. So I feel like it's a special thing between him and I. And it's one of my favorite things is when I see him like, oh, when I tell him a story, he's like shock and awe or something. So that's my favorite with Tristan. And I suppose similar with Marino, but it's just different. He's not asking a bunch of questions, obviously. So with Marino, I like that. I do just love when I can make him smile or entertain him. And something I've noticed, and I'm sure you've noticed too, is sometimes with other people, I feel like he cries harder. And I do notice every once in a while, I'll just take him back. And he puts his head, it fits perfectly like in the little shoulder area. Yeah. And I can hear him go,
he's home.
He calms down, and like that just makes me feel good that I can offer that for him.
Yeah, it's comfort.
And it's like, oh, baby, I'm sorry I had to go to work. So both of those are probably like some of my two favorite things that I can bring to their life.
I would say for me, answering that for you is that I also love with Tristan, because you came into his life, you said around 4 or 5.
Yeah.
And for me, if it was like Valentine's Day, I would just be like, here's a shoebox, dude. Take it to school and get your Valentine's Day cards from your class.
Wild.
And that's what I would do.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, you come in and you're doing like these like extravagant Valentine's Day boxes. You made him some phenomenal cakes for his birthday. Like I'm definitely a guy's guy. And yeah, sports. Hey buddy, I love you. Here's a pound, you know. Actually, I do hug him and kiss him and stuff. But I'm definitely more of a guy's guy. You come in and can add that touch, that the Valentine's Day boxes, the cakes, the decoration. I've never decorated his house when he woke up of like, you know, ribbons and banners and balloons, and now he has that when he wakes up thanks to you. So it has been very cool to watch you with Tristan do those motherly things.
Thank you.
You know,
I appreciate it.
with Marino, my favorite thing that you do with him, it is cool. It's great watching you, and I mean this with no disrespect, but as a first time mom with a newborn.
With a newborn, fair.
So seeing you like everything's new to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's so cute to watch you like give him a bath, and then I hear you like laughing in the bathroom with him, and it's like he did something funny, but like you surely do. There's a lot of joy that he brings you, and it's been really cool to watch that as a first time mom with Marino.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, and you're right. The smiles that he gives you, and that you give him right back. I mean, I will say this kid's got a huge smile, and that comes from this girl right here. I mean, you know, you could tell like, you know, Marino could be crying his head off, and he does that, but then something triggers a smile, and it's like a huge smile, and I'm like, this kid's bipolar. Like I don't know what.
He's got big smiles.
Yeah, he goes from 0 to 100 really, really quick. So yeah, it's been really, really cool to watch you with both kids. All right, so the flip side of that is, what's been the most challenging thing about being a mother? And I'll put a question follow up there. And also the most challenging thing about being like a step or a bonus mother.
Yeah. Those are also two separate things.
Yeah,
so
right.
Newborn mom, guaranteed, slam dunk, hardest thing is the fact that I'm breastfeeding / pumping. So like producing the milk. Okay. It is so much pressure. I didn't know how much milk I would make, because some people are like overproducers and stuff. I am not that.
Not enough producer.
I really wish that, like, I know people who bang out 50 ounces a day. And so I'm not saying that that's not work. That is work in its own right. But you're never worried if your baby's going to get enough food.
Yeah, you stress out a lot over this.
I calculate every ounce. I take spatulas and scrape out. And I'm a just enougher is what we call it. So I haven't had to supplement yet.
Is that a real term?
Just enougher? I see people post it all the time.
Really?
Like, oh, I'm a just enougher. Yeah.
You are.
Yes, so I don't under, I don't over, but like, I'm a just enougher.
This morning before you got back from work, there was 1 ounce left before he was going to lose his mind.
And I ran in with 9 from the day. So
right.
that's the stress. And honestly, like, work kept me much later. Like, we had a scheduled meeting, which I told you about. I did a power pump before I went to work to try to ensure that there was a little extra here. And I'm like, you know, there's 14 ounces here. He wakes up at 7 something. So between 7 and 12:30 in that zone, 14 ounces. Calorically, even if he wants more, like, he's not technically starving, right?
Calorically?
Yes.
That's a real word.
His caloric intake, yes.
Calorically.
Yes.
I have never heard that word in my life. How do you spell it?
Off the top of my dome. So I do my best, but these are the things I have to worry about. And the meeting went late. And I'm sitting there like, I have to go because all I can see in my head, I don't know how the day's going at home. All I can see is him screaming his head off, and you're out of food. And I'm like, I'm starving my child by sitting here.
But we do have reserves in the freezer that you don't want to use yet, but
I have had to use them. Yeah. I'm waiting till he can get to that solids or the beginning of solids, like a ricey cereal type of thing. We have the follow-up appointment at 4 months with the pediatrician where she wants to introduce some of that because he's got such a big appetite. He's like overdosing in milk. It's insane. So waiting to get to that point.
Calorically, he's nuts. Yeah.
And so it's really stressful. Like I spend every day going like, are we have enough milk? Like every single day.
You do stress out, and I believe, I'm not a doctor, but I believe you stressing about that probably messes with your production. Yeah, it really does.
And it does. But how do you not? You know, how do you?
Look at me. I'm not stressed about it. It always works out.
I wish your nipples were more useful. I really do. But you sit there and you plug in and you pump for 20 minutes and you're like, God, I hope this covers the next bottle. Right. You don't know until it happens, right? So that has been my biggest stress. I didn't think it was going to cause me the anxiety it caused me. I thought I'd probably make enough, and I had this positive attitude about it. And it's like, woo! That it's caused me way more than I thought.
You've done great. Yeah. So the second part of that question is, what's been the most challenging thing about being a stepmom or a bonus mom, whatever you want to call this situation that we are in?
Now listen, I can 100% tell you that being a bonus mom is significantly harder than being a mom. I've done both. Okay.
Really.
significantly harder because,
Explain.
you know, I've gotten emotional about it before, but one, I do think people look down on you. I've been told I'm not a real mom before. I'm not this, even though I changed my whole life to be a mom to Tristan. I changed the whole thing. And you often get told that you're not enough, or that's like you don't know, and you get really shafted.
Yeah.
Even by other moms, or I found that people think that they're better than you. There's like a little attitude if they aren't in a bonus child, bonus mom situation. Yeah. They just think that like, oh, I have everything. And
for
it's
the
like,
record, you obviously, it seems like prefer bonus mom than stepmom is what I'm gathering here.
You know what? I don't like to say other. I like to say I'm a mom to him for the
Right.
sake of the conversation, so it makes sense.
But for clarity on our video, what do you prefer?
I would always say bonus. I
okay.
don't. Here's my thing. Tristan's my son. He's never gonna hear me say, "Oh, this is Marino, my son, and Tristan, my stepson."
Right,
that's bullcrap to me, and that's not how I operate.
Yeah.
Now, when people don't understand the situation, of course you have to explain it.
Yeah.
But beyond that, there's no in my life. The first time I was a mom is to Tristan. That's my first. The first time I was a newborn mom and pumping milk was obviously Marino. Different things, but I'll never be like, oh, I'm a mom because of Marino. That's not how I view it, you know? And Tristan doesn't view it like that either. He's always made me a Mother's Day gift. He does. Sometimes he makes a joke and calls me the other mother. Like, we have like all these fun things that we do. So I think that it would be hurtful to him even.
So, a funny story before you finish your answer here. Think about your rest of your answer.
Yeah.
But Tristan, when Marino was about to be born, or maybe when he was born, right around there, Tristan pulled me aside and was like, hey, Daddy, what should I call Kenzie? Now, by the way, you've been Kenzie to him for 4 years at this point.
Because it's such a weird thing because you don't meet them and go, listen, I'm going to become one day your stepmom or bonus mom. So they start out, they don't like meet you and go, hey, mom.
Right.
So it's a weird thing.
So you've been Kenzie for about 4 or 5 years with this kid.
Yeah.
And so he's like, what should I call her when Marino's born? And I go, well, what do you want to call her? And he's like, well, I don't want Marino to only be the one to call her mom. He's like, and I go, listen, buddy. I go, here's the deal. I go, very good questions. I go, but I want you to do what you're comfortable with. I go, I don't want to force you either way. And then he thought about it. He goes, I'm going to call her Kenzie for now. I said, okay, cool. So he still calls you Kenzie.
Yes.
But in his head, there is that, do I ever switch and call her mom? Which we talked about it before.
Yeah.
My money was on the fact he'll always call you Kenzie because he met you as Kenzie.
Right.
But that question didn't make me think like, oh, maybe he's thinking a little differently now. But it's something that as his father, I'm always going to let him decide.
Oh, of course.
So if he wants to call you Kenzie forever, great. If he ever wants to start calling you mom, once Marino talks or whatever, that's fine too. But it was really cute that he was thinking about it.
It would be a really, really happy moment for me if he ever wanted to call me mom. Not for anything besides the fact that I would know that I'm doing a good job in his life if he felt comfortable. It doesn't mean I'm not if he never does. But
you're doing a great job and he knows you are, right?
But if he ever felt that comfortable, that would be like, oh, I'm so happy I've made him feel that way.
Yeah.
That's where like the would come from if he wanted to say that. So
I think the weird part is that like full disclosure, his mom is still in his life. So he does call mom, you know? So
Right.
I think that's where it is. If like his mom wasn't in his life, I think it'd be a lot more natural and more easy for him to call you mom. You know, now he's got two moms. It's a weird situation for blended families.
But he does say that, which is really cute. So like last year when he was making a Mother's Day gift at school, because the Father's Day gift doesn't get made at school because it's in June, but May they're still in it.
Fathers always get the shaft. We don't get anything.
Oh yeah, you get nothing, my ass. Anyways, so it was really cute because his teacher sent a message about how almost enthusiastic he was to be like, well, I have 2 moms. I have to make 2 he says those things and it is really, really sweet. But whatever he's most comfortable with is what I want for his life.
Same.
It is way more challenging though, because you do a lot of the mom stuff, which runs you ragged. Being a mom is a blessing and it's exhausting.
Yeah.
So I've done that in his life, for years, staying up late, making stuff and finishing projects and packing lunches and cooking dinners and doing this. But sometimes you get treated like a little lesser, or you can't jump in with an opinion. Like you can't question me ever on like Marino, right? But sometimes you get questioned or met with resistance, and it's like, but I do love them and I'm just trying to parent with them. So it's hard to do all the things if you truly accept it the appropriate way, because there's step parents out there who don't, right? Yeah. If you truly take it on fully and you love that child and you have their best interest in heart and all that, if that's how you're stepping into that role, and you take on all the responsibility of it, but sometimes you don't get met with the same energy, it's really, really, really hard. Like there's times where it's like, but I don't want to tiptoe around this because I am raising him with you, or you get questioned, or you don't get to like jump in the same way you would with your quote unquote kids. And that's been really hard, where it's like, but I think I'm bringing up a really valid point. If you just like, don't shut me out just because I didn't give birth to him. Like, I'm still raising him with you and have for so long, for majority of our relationship. We moved in before a year, you know, together. So it's like, hey, I've been here a long time. Like, I think you know that I love him. There's like a facade at this point, right? And that's always this, it's like a landmine. It's so tricky. You don't just get to parent, you know, and it's always like stepping cautiously, but taking on all the responsibilities, because we don't just have him on Saturdays, right? We have majority custody. So you really are taking on the parenting
The only
load.
day we don't have Tristan is Saturday.
Yeah. And there's times that we do have him, you know, on that day
travel baseball,
schedule-wise.
so you can see him on Saturday.
Yeah,
but
so it's 24/7. So, I mean, it is, you know, I can understand why some people maybe don't feel like a full-blown parent. Doesn't mean you're not, but if you just had him Saturday.
Yeah, like a lot of dads, you know, trust me, I went through this and I know this. A lot of dads only have their kids like maybe every other weekend, right? And then if you're my wife, you might not feel as motherly with those kids that you only see every other weekend.
You may just have more of a fun relationship with them, but you're like, you're not taking on the brunt of the parenting, but this is where the homework happens. This is where the everyday life happens. So you feel that way, and you don't always get treated that way, and that's really, really hard. Yeah. You know, and you don't even realize this. There's some people who are great about it, but sometimes you think that I've had a harder time connecting with certain people, and I'm like, because I know what they're saying when they say certain things to me, and there are comments where people do knock me down. And instead of, let me tell you something, it's easier to be a parent. I've done both. A lot of people haven't done both. So now I can tell you, it's easier to be a parent to the kid that you birthed. No one ever questions you, like you're a mom. It's hard to change your whole life, and people still kind of discredit you or think they're better. And it's like, you know what? If anything, you should be giving me more credit, because I stepped into this situation and am doing all of it, you know, without question.
Well, I think now that Marino is here and you birthed him, as we've learned that's a word, I think that anybody you're talking about would just realize, like, you know, you are a mom. You know what I'm saying? Like, bonus mom, you're just a mom, and you're doing
I'm momming it up.
Yeah, you're doing a hell of a job, for real, you know? I mean, obviously, I'm super, it was just me and Tristan for a very long time, and I wasn't going to just let anybody in our lives, you know? I dated before, but nobody met Tristan, you know? And I made Kenzie wait quite a while before she met Tristan, you know, because that dude's so special to me. So you've done a great job being a bonus mom to Tristan, and you're doing a phenomenal job being a mom to Marino, and honestly, a mom to both boys. That's kind of how we all look at you. So even me, you're taking good care of me. And
I know that's right.
And I mean,
a lot of boys in this house are getting taken care of.
So let's talk about that, because you're very motherly with me when it comes to certain things. When you first came into our family, you underestimated the Roman Mother's Day celebration. Explain that situation.
So, failure to communicate. You'd think working in media, you'd be an excellent communicator, and you're not.
I am when I'm on the mic.
That's great for everybody else. So we're going one day on the way to the Mother's Day celebration at his sister's house, which fine, everyone gets together for, like, you know, food and stuff like that.
We do it big. Yeah, we do it big.
And now, of course, I had a gift for his mom and his sister. Now, we're talking like cousins are there and grandmas.
Yeah, so
and all this
my
stuff.
grandma, my aunt, my uncle's girlfriend, my two cousins, and then now one of their kids has a baby. Yeah. So, like, there's a bunch of moms there for sure.
On the way to the house, he goes, "Do you have a gift for everyone?" And I go, "What are you talking about?" And he goes, "Well, the moms all give each other stuff." I go, "All of them?" I go, "I have a gift for your mom and your sister. Just like we sent a gift to my mom. Like that's, I'm not reaching out to every single person in our family who's had a kid or, you know, been in a kid's life and all that." And he's like, "Yeah, they all do it."
We do.
On the way to the house.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. So now I know that, but we have like 47 people to buy Mother's Day gifts for, which I want a question for you. Yeah. How relaxing is it as a man? Because Mother's Day is a few days away. You haven't asked once if we have all the gifts covered for both sides of the family.
Because you're really good with gifts.
Oh, it's so nice.
And we take on roles in this relationship, you know, and you are a very, like, you know, I love women. It's who you are. But but you also are very traditional in other ways. Like, you love to cook. You love to clean. Like you're kind of like you are that girl, but you're also you work. So you're a full-time employee as well. Like
Yes.
you're not a stay-at-home mom, but you're also traditional in some of your values. So you took the gift giving thing and you ran with it because you're good at it. Where before, we say BK before Kenzie.
Yep. In this house.
I am guilty of maybe getting gift cards for all those moms at that celebration.
Every single person.
As a single dad, I don't think they judged me. I think they were just happy to get something. But my thought process was, what am I going to get you guys? Like oven mitts that suck, or a gift card to Target where you could buy anything that you want.
So much wrong with what you just said. You
right.
give them oven mitts because they're women. The whole thing sucks.
Well, no, I'm saying like my aunt loves to cook. My mom loves it. Like the women in my family do love to cook. I will say, I understand that we are in 2024 and everyone does everything, okay? But in my family, what I'm saying? In my family, when I grew up, my mom stayed home, my dad worked. My sister right now, my brother-in-law works, my sister stays home. Back in the day, like it's just we're very traditional in those ways. Not saying it's right or wrong. So yes, when I say oven mitts for like my aunt who loves to bake,
Oy.
that's a thoughtful gift. That's not a sexist gift. That's a thoughtful gift.
It sucks.
Don't go woke on me.
Somebody an
Don't
oven
go
mitt.
woke on me here.
I'm not going woke, but like, don't get somebody an oven mitt.
It was an example, but it wasn't a sexist example.
A little bit.
It wasn't.
A little bit. Anyways, so yeah, that's you have this Mother's Day palooza that happens with your family.
Mm-hmm.
I suggested last year that with the women, why don't we do, instead of like Secret Santa, like we do like Who's Your Mama? And like because there's so many, and I feel like I was not taken up on it, but I'm like, guys, this is a lot of gifts.
Yeah.
For a Mother's Day.
It is, yeah.
And it's very sweet. Like it's not a negative thing, of course, but I'm like, we could all make it easier, because every year I feel like women are like, we had no idea what to do because there's so many people. And it's like,
you know why I get the gift cards.
I'm going to hit you.
Get what you want.
But we cannot do that while they're getting thoughtful gifts. You don't understand. Oh my goodness.
If they were to get you the perfect gift for Mother's Day, what would that be?
A trip to Egypt. I want to punch you in the face.
I mean, people want to know. Like,
you probably, okay, truth be told, it's Thursday. It's Thursday, Mother's Day, Sunday. I won't be mad. You don't know what you're going to get me yet, do you?
Here's the problem, guys.
You don't know,
is that there are so many holidays and birthdays and anniversaries stacked up in Q1 of 2024 that there was Christmas, there was
Christmas is the end of Q4.
Okay, fine, but okay,
So it doesn't count.
we went from Christmas, we went to Valentine's Day, to our anniversary, to your birthday. I mean, it's like boom, boom. I'm forgetting one thing too. Boom, 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 boom. I had to think of 4 different ideas to like wow you, and I think I did a pretty good job for most of them.
Good.
And here's another holiday.
Well, this is it for this is it. Like,
until Sweetest Day, or is there like...
Okay, Sweetest Day is what, November?
Is there like Women's Independence Day or something that I gotta...
Okay. You're so negative. This is it till Sweetest Day, which is not like we go balls out for Sweetest Day, so settle down. And then Christmas. So a deep rest, you're in your home stretch. You've had a lot of stuff too. It's going to be your birthday. It's going to be Father's Day. It was our anniversary. I have to get you a present for our anniversary.
Yeah, but I'm the one that says I don't want presents. You're the one that's like, give me the presents.
No, the problem is you don't want... The reason you tell me that is so you don't have to go get me stuff.
No, it's
That's
not true.
100% it.
That's not true. I swear. Listen, and you are younger than me. I am older than you. This is definitely well documented in our podcast. My son's birthday is May 19th. My birthday is May 17th. I don't give a damn about my birthday. I really, really don't. I'm so excited for Tristan's birthday, as I was excited for your birthday. When you get older, you just don't...
That's not true, because you still ask me for my birthday. We don't want to do gifts. You always say that.
No, I say Christmas. Birthday. Hey, I got you like the best present for birthday.
I know, but you weren't happy about it.
And probably the most expensive one I've ever bought you in my entire life. I had no idea Shakira was that expensive.
Shakira.
Like more than Taylor Swift.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yes. Anyways, so I say for Christmas, I thought it'd be fun if we did like a big trip. Like you're spending money on me, I'm on you. Why don't we like go on a really cool family trip every single year for Christmas? But you didn't like that idea. You want presents and then maybe also a trip.
I said, no, what did we do this year? This year...
A limit, $100 limit.
We did a limit.
Which
because
I
we
like.
did a trip.
That was my idea though.
Yeah, so like, I know you said let's not do anything. And I said, how about we do something with a limit? That's what I said. Okay. So it's like that way, I think it's good. I also think it's good for our kids to not just watch each other open up gifts all day. Like, I think they should watch your relationship be like thoughtful for each other and have gifts for one another.
I think our kids would love like going on a Disney cruise every Christmas, and that's like mommy and daddy's gift to each other.
That's our gift is a kid's vacation.
You've never been on one. You stopped like in 3 different countries, and you travel, and you have no idea. Cruises are awesome.
Yeah. What we did one year was a trip to the Wisconsin Dells, and like. That's for damn sure not going to be my present. We're not playing that game.
We've already had a whole podcast episode.
I cannot.
We've been banned from the Dells because of your opinion. I believe they pulled advertising from Q101.
We can go, but it will not be my present. Okay?
It wasn't your present that year.
I know, but I'm saying it's like a kid's trip.
Right.
I love our kids.
Yeah.
I love them. Not my gift to go on a vacation with them.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
But again, so like if people were like wondering, listening right now, like what would you love for Mother's Day? What would it be?
Oh my God. I can't even deal. You have no idea, do you? You have no idea what to give me.
I'm struggling. All right. Anyways, I thought also because listen, we celebrated you for 26 minutes, right? And you should have 26 more minutes of celebration. I mean, you're a great mom, and you've been everything that we could ever have imagined in this household. So thank you for that. But we also
my time has come to an end. What are we doing?
Well, we need to wrap up the Kenzie Mother's Day segment.
Why? I'm enjoying it.
And I thought it'd be kind of cool we also have 2 moms in our lives that are awesome.
Yes.
And I thought it might be kind of cool. Maybe you can tell our audience maybe one or 2 of your favorite stories about you and your mom and why your mom is so great.
So my mom's my best friend, if you know anything about me.
That's a fact.
Literally, like, it's not a joke. It's who I hang out with. I even remember, and I don't want any of my friends to listen to this podcast and be slighted, but like I just...
No, we need the numbers. So listen to the podcast. We need the numbers.
But I said, and feel slighted.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay, but the thing is that even the night before I got married, right? Like that wedding night before, my mom was like, maybe we'll get together, like, all your friends, and they'll come up to your room, and we'll do shots. Besides that I was ill, so that didn't happen. Yeah. I'm like, I'd rather just hang out with you. Like, I love to be with my mom. I love to just sit down and talk with her. Go ahead and roll your eyes.
Let's piggyback that because for our wedding, we talked long and hard about, wedding parties and that kind of thing. And you kept coming back to the fact of like your mom would be your maid of honor.
Yeah, and she's gonna be there all day. Like that's who she held my bouquet. Mm-hmm. She went and did the photos with us. She held my dress. It's the closest person in my life, and it has been since I was a little kid. Like I did not have like that best friend in high school above anybody else. Like even my mom, like I would go hang out with my mom. So obviously I wasn't very popular, but I really loved hanging out with my mom, and I'm still like that. Yeah. The thing is though, is that my mom is very defensive about that relationship, and you know how you think I have attitude.
Well, because you do. It's a fact, but okay.
I don't.
Yeah, you do.
No one has the attitude that my mom has, though.
Okay.
Like, she's insane in a great way. So, I didn't have a great, like, junior high school experience. It wasn't a good time for me. I remember one year, my friends, I'm using air quotes right now, because I had friends, but they just weren't, like, great to me a lot of times.
Yeah.
So, I had a friend who wanted me to go out on New Year's Eve with her and another girl. Now, I'm not dumb. I didn't drink in high school. So I knew the only reason she wanted me to go out was because she wanted me to drive them around so they could get drunk.
DD.
And I told her, oh, actually, I'm going to, I have these, like, plans with my parents. So I'm not going out. Because I didn't drink. I didn't want to go to a bunch of house parties. It sounded, like, crappy. I'd rather eat, like, really good food with my parents. Because I obviously wasn't very popular. Mm-hmm. But, she got mad at me and was like, you did that last year. It got mad at me. And I'm like, well, okay.
You do it every year.
Yeah, I was like, well, yeah, sorry about it. And she was like, really like cursing me out, yelling at me. And my mom knew this girl. Yeah. And I got all upset because I'm like, I can't believe she's mad at me. Like, she told me now, like, I'm sure her other ride must have fell through because this is like day off and you're yelling at me. And it's like, what? I'm not required to drive you around. Like, and it just brought my whole mood down because I just felt like I got like shit on by my friends all the time. So I was like totally like a punching bag to a lot of them. And
really fast, thank you for making the Mother's Day episode explicit now.
You're
That's
welcome.
Great.
You're welcome.
That's my girl.
Yeah. So anywho, I all of a sudden get a text from her like 30 minutes later and she goes, it was really unnecessary to get our parents involved in this fight. And I'm like, I go, what are you talking about? Like I text her back, what are you talking about? And she's like, your mom just came to my house. I go, Dad! And she's like, what? I go, where the hell is Mom? And I call, and she comes home and she's like, I'm not sorry. I go, Mom. And she goes, well, I just drove to her house and asked her like what her problem was and da-da-da-da. And she goes, and so what if you did that with us last year? You're our daughter. And I'm like, You did not
Oh my
pull
God.
up on an underage girl and get at her. She goes, well, I just, she was less snappy when I got there. I'm like, oh my God.
Oh my God. That's funny. That's
Like,
great.
this is my mom. Like, she pulls up on people who have beef with me.
I mean, I could see her daughter doing the same thing in about 15 years if someone's mean to Marino.
Probably.
But I will say, with boys, you better not do that. That makes them look soft, and you can't ruin their rep. The Roman boys are going to be like tough. They can handle it.
Well, the problem is you're softer than me. You're teaching them to be soft, and I'm like pulling them aside. You are so teaching
All
them
you
to be
say
soft.
to me is, you're too mean to Marino. All you say is, I'm too rough with him.
Well, because you want to train him. The problem is with Tristan, and you did this one day, and I'm like, oh my God, you're going to get him beat up. Is that he was talking about how like a kid kind of like pushed him during like Foursquare, right? Mm-hmm. And you're like, I hope you ran and told a teacher. And I'm like, oh.
Okay, no, that's not what I said.
Yes,
and what
it
I've
is.
always told him, what I've always told him is don't ever start a fight. You're never allowed to push anybody or hit anybody. But if somebody ever starts a fight with you and they hit you, you're allowed to hit them back and beat them up. I've said that since he could understand
Because
words.
I don't need him not knowing how to defend himself. So we had a different conversation where I was like, he knocked you on your back? And he goes, yeah. And I go, that's a really bad place to start a fight. Like, you got to get up. I go, if someone ever pushes you down, and this is for real because this is a safety thing. This isn't even a fighting thing. I go, if somebody ever pushes you down, you have to stand up as fast as you can. I go, because it's a dangerous place to be if someone's going to jump on you or hit you or kick you or whatever. I go, never lay on the ground and be like, oh, my elbow, because you think a teacher's going to get your attention. I go, you need to stand up super, super fast because that's how you lose a fight.
I may have said, did a teacher see it? I would have never said, go tell a teacher.
You're just being soft.
I've taught him from day one that if anybody ever starts a fight with him, he is allowed to fight back. I've taught him that from day one.
You're just 2, and I'm like, I'm worried about him because like, I'm worried about the boys in general, because if you're over here like, running tattletale. Like, get up! Oh my God!
Okay, I never. You can't put bad false quotes on our podcast. That never ever was said ever.
You're just a little softer in that area because I think you're like, oh, the tiny boys, but like I don't want them. My point of view is like I don't want something bad to happen to them. So he needs information like, don't start a fight on the ground. Like, get up.
Your hearing needs to get checked out, because I have never ever said that, and I've always taught him if someone starts with you, you are allowed to fight back, but you're never allowed to start a fight on your own.
Absolutely.
You never start it first, because then I'll be mad. But if someone starts with you, you are allowed to fight back and defend yourself.
Now, as the only person in the relationship who's gotten in fights,
not true. Second grade, I beat the hell out of somebody. Second grade, and I retired. I retired 1-0.
Yeah.
Champ.
So I just feel like I'm just like, okay, now let me pull you to the side. Let me give you some tips in case somebody comes at you. Mm-hmm. I just,
Says the girl with the rap sheet in Florida.
Well, like, what? Yeah, and I won.
Okay. Anyways, we're talking about moms here. How did you divert the conversation?
Because my mom showed up at a girl's house.
Okay. So, So, anyways, but you love your mom. She is your best friend.
She is. I really have the best mom in the world. And you know, one thing that's really cool about my mom, and she may be insulted when I say that first, but it's been helpful. My mom doesn't have mom glasses. So I can get an honest opinion out of my mom. So many moms you ask, and I know it comes from love, they're like, you're always pretty. You're always perfect. Right. You didn't do anything wrong. My mom can look me in the face and go, you were wrong when you said that. Yeah. Or you were negative when you said that. Or that is not your best picture. Or that was not your best day. But it's good to have someone that close that you can totally trust to give you constructive criticisms, because they do love you.
There are times that your mom will text you and be like, oh my God, I love that episode of your podcast. And you say to me, you go, oh my God, my mom loved it, because you really
that means something.
That means something to you.
Right. Yeah, because she would be like, it wasn't my favorite. Like, she'll say that.
And she hates podcasts, but she actually likes our podcasts. Yeah.
And she told me that when I said I was going to start one, because she's very honest. But to have someone that close that I'm not embarrassed to go, how do I look here? How do I sound here? Yeah. And to know that it's not going to be hateful, to know that it's going to be truthful, to know it's so important to have. So I love that she doesn't wear mother glasses and she gives me such a truthful answer. So it's really helped for me and get that feedback and be better in a lot of areas of my life. Yeah,
you have a great mom. Now she's my mother-in-law.
Yes.
And so I can say she's awesome, and I love your relationship you have with her. And for that reason, I don't think you need to have a girl, because you guys had that like.
Shut up. We're going to have a daughter.
No, we're not.
What I say to you when you get mad is someone's going to give me a daughter. You just have to decide if it's going to be you or We're not.
Gotta watch it. And guys, we decided that 1 year from when Marina was born is when we can make the final decision if we're gonna have more kids.
Yes.
And so we
Yes,
are.
we are.
We're what? Let's see.
3 months.
Well, 9 months away from that decision.
9 months away from that decision.
Yeah, because 9 plus 3 is 12.
Well, I was saying he was 3 months older.
No, I know. Right. All right. So your mom's awesome. I also have an awesome mom.
Yes, you do.
I want to like brag about her a little bit before I tell you a funny story that really sticks out in my head because she's gonna hate the story. But I do want to say, like, I have a great mom. I mean, as I told you before, my family was very traditional growing up. So my dad worked like long hours in the car business, and my mom stayed home mom. So like she was always there for me, for my sister. I mean, we just had the best upbringing you could ever ask for. I mean, I've said on the podcast up until I was early 30s, like my life was just absolutely perfect. I mean, like we had a tragedy hit in my early 30s, but like before that, like, perfect life, perfect upbringing, perfect household. It was awesome. You know, my mom being there after school, you know, when me and Dana came home every single day was a great sense of security. It kept us on the right track. You know, she was the one that drove us to all of our activities. You know, I can specifically remember my mom and one other parent being at every one of our baseball games in high school. I mean, throughout my entire life, but in high school, sometimes parents kind of like, you know, like drop off a little bit. My mom and then my buddy Phil, his dad, Big Phil, it'd be raining and they're there with umbrellas, like watching their kids play ball, you know, at every single game. It was awesome. I mean, I had a really great childhood, and my mom was just an all-time mom. Everybody loved my mom's cooking. Our house was the spot to go to because mom would make tons of dinner. And then my buddy Frank, actually, people joke around because Frank would have dinner at our house, and then his parents would call, and he'd go have dinner at their house. He would eat twice.
Oh, goodness.
Friends would come over, they go in the pantry, grab something. We had like that house that everybody went to and everyone wanted to go to because of my mother and my father, but my dad was working, so my mom was the one that was home. And my mom was a disciplinarian of the house too. Like, it's really weird. My dad was, he wanted to be more like my best friend, and I knew that, and he was my best friend. He was,
and you used that to your benefit.
I think with Tristan and when Marino can start talking and realizing, like, you know, words and stuff, you realize that dads and sons do have a great bond, kind of like you and your mom have a bond.
Yeah.
You know, me and my dad, and then me and Tristan.
Out of the two of us, I would say you're gonna always be the disciplinarian, though.
Yeah, I mean, I even though you don't want to admit it on camera, I think I am the one that's definitely lay the law down if something's going wrong. Listen, I love Tristan, and he does a lot of stuff, and I let a lot of things slide. But when something goes wrong, I will freak out, and I scare the hell out of the kid. So like, I mean, you got to give me a little credit. I am the disciplinarian.
No, that's what I said. I go, you're the disciplinarian out of us.
Yeah.
For sure. It's just not how I rock.
Right. So in my household, my mom was a disciplinarian, right? So funny story, just really fast before I get to the funny story, it was that, like, you know, my mom, if I was young and I'm like, Mom, can I take my bike down to the pharmacy in Bloomingdale? She's like, are you crazy? No way, you can't do that. It's too far, main roads, whatever. And then she would go off shopping, and I'd be like, Dad, can I go to the pharmacy on my bike? And he'd be like, fine, but get back before your mom gets home. Like, that's kind of how my household was, right? All right. So anyway, my mom's gonna hate this story, but again, remember, my mom was awesome, and I love her to death.
What are you about to do to this poor woman?
So I was raised in the 80s. I'm older than you, raised in the 80s. Okay. If you mouthed off a little bit, you get a smack to the face. Okay. If you did something bad, you know, you might get a little tap. Yeah. And so I'll make sure something's going on here, baby. All right, cool. Whew, there was a little thing that went down. You saw that?
Yep.
Little glitch?
Really
all right,
nervous.
We're good. So I was raised in the 80s, right? And I think I do like that way of parenting. I'm not going to do it to our kids because times have changed, but I don't regret anything that was done. I think I turned out to be a very, very good kid, as did my sister.
I think she should have hit you a little harder.
As did my sister, because we had the type of discipline of, like, being scared of, like, oh, you better not do that because, you know, mom or dad's going to get mad. So anyway, once I was always a good kid. Maybe I got hit a few times here and there. My mom tries to deny it to this day. She's like, no, wait, I never did that. Okay, trust me, she did. But the one time I remember being a little older in high school, maybe a freshman, maybe a sophomore, and I was probably being a brat because as you get older, you get a little attitude. You're in high school, you know, I'm popular, but
and you never lost yours. It's crazy. You just stayed a brat.
Funny. So I must have said something, and my mom got really, really, really mad, and she kind of chased me to hit me. And I ran into the garage, and she's chasing me around ready to hit me. And finally, I'm like, I'm a freshman, and I grab her arm. Cause I'm like, I'm stronger than this woman. Like, what am I doing? And then she like got shook, and then she grabbed her other arm to hit me, and I grabbed the other arm, and I'm like, you're not hitting me. And she just started laughing because I think at that point she realized,
like, oh, you're grown up.
You're grown up. I can no longer ever do this, no matter what you. I mean,
this has got significantly like scary for you or threatening.
Our dynamic changed forever at that point because I was bigger and stronger and like, no, I'm not gonna be stupid and let that happen anymore.
She's like, well, no bike for you. You're done.
Right. So that always sticks out to me as a very funny like changing of the guard moment, you know?
Yeah. I wonder when that'll happen for me. I'm not gonna hit the kids, but like, when like I'm looking up at Tristan, like, you better listen to me, mister.
Yeah, and you're 5. Yeah, you're 5'2", so like he's gonna pass
already
you,
at my chin.
He's gonna pass you in a couple years. Like,
I'm gonna be like, listen, with that attitude.
See, that's why I could be a disciplinarian and become 6'3".
I know.
I will always look down on these kids.
They're not scared of me. They don't find me scary. Tristan knows it too. He plays with like a fiddle.
Yeah.
He's not scared of me.
Yeah. All right. Well, anyways, but happy Mother's Day to my mother. I do love you more than anything in this world, and I thank you for all the sacrifices you made and for really shaping me and raising me to be the man who I am today, who I hope you're proud of. And happy Mother's Day to your mother.
Yeah, she's the best.
Yeah, I call her Dawn because from an age standpoint, I think it feels weird to call her like Mrs. Kramer.
Yeah, well, I call your mom.
Well, yeah, but like, okay, so let's talk about that for a second because this podcast, we can talk as long as we want, right?
I guess.
There was a weird time when I was in Minnesota and we just first started dating early on.
Yeah.
And I was with you and your mom and your dad telling stories or whatever, and then I was going to refer to them, and I paused, and I'm like, guys, I'm sorry. Do I call you like Mr. and Mrs. Kramer, like, or do I call you like Dawn? And they stop me right there. They go, no. Please call us Dawn and Troy. I'll be mad if you call us, Mr. and Mrs. Kramer. But I was raised to always call. I still call my 4th grade teacher Mrs. Kelly. I still call my buddies' parents Mr. and Mrs. Yurley. I was just taught that way, and that's how I've always done it. So it felt weird to call like grown-up parents, even though I'm a grown-up myself. It felt weird to call them by their first name. But I did ask, and your parents both insisted on calling them their first names.
And so I called your mom, my mother-in-law, I called her Mrs. Roman forever.
Yep.
And then when we got married, she's like, you're not allowed to call me that anymore because you're Mrs. Roman.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, that's not so true. I can still call you that. And she goes, no. And I go, do you have a preference of what I call you? She goes, well, don't call me by my name because I'm like your grandma. That's just weird. And I'm like, so it made me laugh. And I love her to death. So I'm like, well, I'm going to call you mom. And it was like a sweet moment for us. And she actually, before I told her I was going to call her mom, she wrote a card for me.
This is funny.
It must have been for Mother's Day because it was after our wedding.
Yeah, probably.
And obviously, like, you don't have to say someone's name very often. Like you're just talking with them. So
yeah,
right. You don't say my parents' names that often.
In that moment with your parents, I was telling a story, but it was like one of those stories where I was referring to them, and I'm like, what do I do here? Like,
right. So with your mom, I don't think she realized like what I was going to call her yet. And she wrote on, maybe it was my birthday card. It was right after our wedding. And she was like, love Mama D. Because her name's Arlene. And we were all teasing her. She was, well, I don't know what she wants to call me. And I'm like, I'm going to call you mom. It was it was so cute. But then we tease her sometimes and call her Mama D.
Yeah, she hates it. She's going to hit you. But no. But I will say one more thing about that. Your age difference between my mom and you is very, very great, where Mrs. Roman kind of fit early on when you first met her. My age difference with your parents is much closer, where it kind of is weird if I call them Mr. and Mrs. Kramer.
Because let's see, the age difference, I feel like you're closer in
We don't
age
need to like do the math right now.
to my
like,
parents.
When did you want to like insert math into our podcast? I'm saying.
You know what Tristan did the other day? Where I'm like, oh my gosh.
What?
He goes, hey. He goes, you and I are 20 years apart, and you and Dad are 18 years apart.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, yes.
That's so funny. I know, it's so funny.
I'm like, yes. Let's not bring it up a bunch, But it was a funny moment. And
it was a funny moment. It's a great moment to end on. So with that being said, happy Mother's Day to my mother, to your mother, to our grandmothers, to all my sister, to your sister-in-laws. I mean, like everybody. But I do, because it is the romance podcast, I do want to say happy Mother's Day to you, Kenzie Roman.
Thank you.
Very, very happy that you are mother to my 2 kids, and you're a great one at that. So I hope you have a great, great day. And we're gonna end by saying, letting people know if you had to pick like a perfect gift for Mother's Day, what would that be? Because then we'll come back next week and see if you got it.
I want a trip to Egypt.
Is that what you want?
I do, really bad. That's what I was going to do before I got pregnant, and actually before COVID hit. Remember, I had that trip scheduled.
Right. All right. Anyways,
so that would be like my dream.
Hopefully you guys enjoyed our Mother's Day edition of the Romance Podcast. And remember, you cannot spell romance without Roman. Happy Mother's Day once again, babe.
Thank you.